Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It's Waffle Box time.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
My crotch is itchy.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
2 chicks at the same time, man.
I just thank the Lord she didn't live to see her son as a mermaid.
You killed a hooker!
Call girls!
No, Cyril, when they're dead, they're just hookers.
This time we are sure she's a woman, right?
Why do you want to listen to the TV with the stereo on?
Because I like to party.
Let's do this!
And welcome to Waffle Box, episode 6, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing, all at the same time. I'm Mike Fish, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Kush Hayes. Kush, how you doing, my man?
What's good, y'all? What is good, y'all? How you doing, Mike?
I'm sweaty. I'm sweating out. Here
You feeling that global warming too, pal? I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm English. I'm used to 65 degrees year-round. It's 99 degrees right now. 97. Sorry, I had to correct myself. It did drop a little bit. It's 97 degrees, 52% humidity. It's clammy. That's the best way I could... Clammy. It's clammy in New Jersey. How's it in...
I understand Portland, Oregon was in triple digits over the weekend. Like 110, 112 levels. That was the kind of hell they were having. But here in San Francisco, man, Alexa says it's 62 degrees right now in my neighborhood. So it's cold, but this is normal for San Francisco.
See, that's weird. I just always... Anywhere in California, I just always assume this is hot. Hot all the time.
No,
but
we'll get some heat spikes, and then come late October, mid-September, October, then that's when our summer will officially begin, and then we'll get maybe in the 80s. But yeah, we had an earthquake last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. How did that go?
It was fine. So we had a 4.1 last night while recording this Friday's Microdose with Drew Angelman from the Movie Minds podcast. We were talking about summer films, but during the middle of the Robin Seto cameo party, a 4.1 earthquake out of San Lorenzo, California. That's East Bay and a little beyond. So it's a good distance. So if you're in San Lorenzo, you probably lost a plate or two, maybe a dish as well. But otherwise, we just felt a rumble. The mic started shaking. Robin Seto said she could see the camera wobbling. So that was an experience for everybody virtually.
Are people going to be able to enjoy how you reacted to the earthquake on the Microdose, or are you going to edit that out through audio magic?
Totally leaving it in, but yeah, I don't think it's anything dramatic other than are you guys seeing this? Because obviously Drew Angelman's in Florida and Robin Seto's in Sacramento, so they have no idea what's going on. Just all of a sudden I'm just spiked up. Do I need to move? I got a window right here, so if it got any stronger, I'd be like, ooh, is that gonna break? Do I need to get into this doorway over there? Do I need to worry about this mirror right here? But I could compare it to a big rig driving by the house really quickly, which has also happened before and has been mistaken for earthquakes. So
that is a big rig. It's a big rig. Nice.
Indeed.
So other than potentially fearing for your life, anything else interesting in the world of Kush Hayes this week?
Yeah, man, went back to work for the first time since November. And before that, February of last year. So it was good. I was part of this boxing event. It was a pay-per-view thing. The network running it was called BLK Prime. I've never heard of them before, but they rented out this really nice warehouse that I don't want to talk about on the air. But it's very super-duper exclusive. So, only staff is there, only talent is there with their +1, and, the judges like this is a super low key event. I believe this was their third event, so this would be. It was nice to be a part of this. I had a rough intro, but then once I got my emotion down, I had a much bigger part. Normally, I just plug shit in and then chill in the corner.
Right. What did
But
you
this
do?
time they're like, we need you to stage direct. We need you to like cue these guys in. We need you to count this guy in. Do something. Push this button every so often. And when they're explaining that all to you at once, and you've never worked a boxing event before, or just the event period, you might get a little confused. So, I ask questions, and they get annoyed, but I'm just like, yo, we're doing this right. You're going to tell me this for the 14th time. I'm sorry. But once I got my rhythm down, it was a pretty smooth show. 4 fights. 4 fights. No one you've ever heard of. And even if you had, something was up. No one was using their birth name. Everybody had so one fight was between a man named Gorilla and another gentleman named the Canadian. Okay. Now, these are 2 very big gentlemen. And I want to say they were the second fight, so they were a little rusty, but they were better than the first fight. They were throwing some blows, but they're still brand new at it.
Is this like BLK's like gimmick, or were these people like so ashamed that they were on this show they didn't want to use their real name?
I'm pretty sure this is just their gimmick. I don't have an explanation why for that. I think they're definitely doing this on purpose.
Who else was on the show other than Gorilla and the Canadian?
Well, let's see. So the main event was between Black Goku and a gentleman named Memnon Warrior.
Okay.
Yeah, Memnon Warrior is a real deal, dude. This dude looks like a boxer. He's just not an ounce of fat on him. He literally just cut like you. Thankfully, he seems like a very nice person, but yeah, you can tell this guy knows what he's doing.
Sounds like an obscure character from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I believe he's based his ring name on a Greek warrior, just based on a brief Google search I did. But Black Goku is not so much a boxer. I don't know how he ended up in the main event. He is a rapper. He's not bad. He's a very nice dude. He was the first talent to show up on location. I don't know what his call time was supposed to be, but I feel like he was really early and just super enthusiastic about being there. Shook everybody's hand, and really nice dude. Had this whole thing worked out. He's gonna rap to the ring.
Oh,
he's an entertainer, dude. That shit was entertaining as fuck. But then he got in the ring.
Apollo Creed.
Well, Apollo Creed's already in the ring, but Apollo Creed's all business. That's Memnon Warrior. Like, again, this dude's he's gonna hurt you. And this match was incredibly lopsided, dude. Spoiler alert: the referee wisely stops it in the middle of the second round, and the kid was just blowing up. Black Goku, like, at no point is he like putting his hands up. At some point, he's just like. He's wildly out of his element. I don't know why he thought it was a good idea. I hope he got paid, but he definitely. I don't think he was hurt any more than his pride. So hopefully he shakes it off. But he's no matter what amount of training he did, and he blamed it on just I didn't train hard enough. His opponent wasn't a whole other class. It's not even a contest.
I mean, I'm no professional fighter. I'm no professional fighter, but I know if you're concerned about your cardio, probably best not to rap on your way to the ring. You should probably just like preserve all your oxygen.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a wise observation, but a gimmick's it's a good gimmick.
Hopefully he makes something of himself. So was there any live crowd, or was it just all for TV / pay-per-view, or where was it airing?
It was airing on their own network, BLK Prime's own URL. So it's a whole network. It has a subscription plan. They have movies. They have TV shows. They don't unfortunately let you browse it before you guys subscribe, and then you can see what's on our channel. But
that's ballsy.
it's interesting. It's an interesting strategy. But for $13, you can see this fight. It is still available now, and the next fight is going to be at the end of July. So we may or may not be a part of that. We'll be happy to be there. If not, hell of an experience, dude. It was a good day.
So, I mean, before we move on, is that $13, is that just for the fights? Or is that their monthly subscription charge?
No, that's just for the for that single event.
Oh, so it's like Disney Plus where you pay X amount per month, and then for their special movies you have to then pay $25 on top.
I don't know that you need a subscription to... Yeah, I don't know if it's like Disney Plus with like the Black Widow coming up next week, but I do know this fight or this event was $13. I don't know if you get to keep it or if it's a one-time deal, but that's what I know. So it's an hour and a half. I think they're going to do a little polish up on it. So, yeah.
That's a pretty ballsy for a streaming network. Just to be like, hey, subscribe to us for, I don't know, $6 a month. Ooh, what do I get for $6 a month? It's a secret.
I have a feeling they have a very, very niche fan base. Like, the people signing up for this know what they're getting. I would hope so, at least. I would hope so. So, but yeah, it's an interesting project. I hope they go further with it. I actually kind of like it without a crowd. I think more people would just get in the way. There's just one little row of plus ones. Again, friends and family. And they cheered on who they cheered on, and yeah.
It sounds like it had like a Fight Club atmosphere.
It's kind of underground, man. Again, like no one's using their real name, so it's an interesting experience.
So no one's using their real name, sort of like in the wrestling world. Segue. So did you see? Because obviously, people that know us will know that we connected through our mutual admiration of the WWE or professional wrestling.
Of the squared circle. Yes, sir.
Or as Vladimir Kozlov used to say, double E.
Double E.
Double E, which is just E's for E's. But so WWE, double E, they have a creative team coming up with all of their fantastic storylines that they have on their weekly shows. But they put out like an ad for their creative team. So apparently what they're looking for now is kind of like out the box thinkers. So they're actually requesting people, not necessarily requesting people, but they're putting out for their creative team, hey, you don't need to know anything about wrestling. You don't need to be a wrestling fan or anything like that. We just need creative people, blah, 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 blah. Which is fine. But so there was a young lady, her name was Knice Mobley. She's a comedian based out of New York. I think she's like been on like late night TV shows and things like that. She's doing well for herself. And she decided, fuck it, I'll see what this is about, and applied for WWE, got the job, lovely jubbly. But then the controversy came when she appeared on a podcast, which I have, to my memory, I didn't write this down, but I believe the podcast was called Asian Not Asian, or something like that. I think it's like hosted by a friend, like it's like a comedian podcast. Okay. And she was like, hey, so I heard you got a job at WWE. And she was like saying, hey, I'm going to be part of their creative team. I'm writing for their Raw brand, which is all cool. And then she said that, like, some of the characters on there, for example, like their WWE champion right now is named Bobby Ashley.
Ooh.
Which might not seem like a big deal, but obviously his name is actually Bobby Lashley. Not Ashley. And I think she did correct herself. Said, I think it's Bobby Lashley. I should probably know that. The whole podcast went on.
Yes, she should.
But then, apparently, like a week or two later, after this podcast came out, she got released from the company. Now, first, I will be the first to say I have no issues with her because, as you know, the wrestling fans can be crazy people, and apparently they've all gone to like social media and stuff like that and started trashing her and blah blah blah, not knowing anything.
Okay,
it's ridiculous. So she's gone all private and everything. But I think no fault of her own. WWE they didn't ask for any experience, so why would I be upset if someone who doesn't have an experience applies for a job? So I'm not like mad at anyone in this situation. I just find it bizarre that, let's just say, right, so I know of a show called Getting Away with Murder. Are you familiar with that show?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Cannot say I am.
So I think it's on ABC, or it used to be on ABC. I don't even know if it's still going on. But I know of the show happened. But I have no idea about any of the characters or anything like that. So, but let's just say that they put out an ad for writers, and it just says, hey, no prior experience of the show needed. We just want creative people. And I apply for it. And then they say, hey, cool, we like your application. We'd like you to come in and interview for the job. And then I go and interview for the job. And then I get accepted for that job. And then I start doing the job. At some point during all that happening, I'd probably at least Google the show that I'm potentially writing for and finding out some of the characters' names. Am I like crazy in that, or?
No, you're not. But at the same time, so I haven't followed wrestling for a very long time, and I was never backstage at a WWE event. But I understand like the writers get run through the ringer. Like you're up all night,
horrible.
Just writing and rewriting and rewriting, and then trying to convince Vince why this needs to happen, and then he said, and then somehow they produce 3 hours of Raw a week, anyways.
And then 2 hours of NXT, and then 2 hours of SmackDown. Like, yeah, I do not begrudge anyone. But that sounds like a horrible job to me. But I just found that quite a funny story.
Yeah, even if she hadn't told on herself like that, she'd probably have been fired in 72 hours, anyways. I understand it's really a revolving door like that, man. That's what I understood, at least.
Yeah, I don't imagine many people last long there, because whether they
hard.
will either get fired or they just get sick of it.
I know Freddie Prinze Jr. was there for at least 5 years.
Yeah,
so.
he actually did quite well there.
Mm-hmm. Put on some good angles too.
But as far as I'm aware, he was like a huge wrestler, because I think he grew up. Because his dad was a stand-up comedian, I think.
Mm-hmm. Freddie Prinze Sr.
And so he got connected because he was like friends with, or like he knew like Richard Pryor and all that kind of era and that crowd. And so I think somehow he met wrestlers at a young age and kind of got involved in it and kind of got into liking it. So I think he's been like a lifelong fan. But yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, I'd have a beer with him.
Wasn't he at some point connected to Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah, so this came up on last night's recording of the Microdose. He's actually married to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, they're still married? They're still happily married?
I believe so.
Good for them.
I believe so. Yeah, they seem nice.
Yeah. But did she do anything other than Buffy?
She did that, I want to say she was on the Ghost Whisperer. You don't know what that is? That's probably for the best. It was a CBS drama about a woman who solved murder mysteries because she could talk to ghosts.
Oh, I do remember that. That was so bad.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy was in it. Someone else. A bunch of people were on it, obviously. But
yeah, no. Let's move on for that. Another thing that came up in this week's hot topics and news trending, whatever you want to call it, Perez Hilton, celebrity gossip guru extraordinaire. He came into people's shit lists this week because of. Did you see the Britney Spears thing where she was talking about she wanted to have control over her life and her money again. She
I've heard some blips on the local news radios and all that stuff, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, so she, I think she mentioned something, or basically people was like talking shit about Perez because he was horrible to her and blah 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 blah.
He made a lot of money off of her. I know that much.
Well, so he came out and apologized apparently. So he apologized about how he treated Britney Spears. He apparently, and I quote, carries deep shame and regret for how he mocked Britney Spears. And he said, but he was like, I can't say I was young and dumb. I think we know a lot more now. I was just concerned for her children. Okay, so there's a couple of things in there. So one, he's not necessarily hanging his like thing on the whole I was young and stupid, but he's kind of trying to slide that in there. And also trying to say, I had no issue with Britney. I was just concerned for her children. I'm such a nice guy. Meanwhile, this guy. So, do you know Billie Eilish?
Yeah,
Billie Eilish, right? Yep.
Yeah, I heard some of her songs. She's an interesting chick.
Yeah, so a video came out of her when she was like 13, I think, making fun of like an Asian accent or something like that.
Okay.
Where it was like, it's too stupid, and then most people was like, yeah, that was kind of bad, but you're an idiot at 13, blah 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 blah. And Perez Hilton comes out and says, "Oh, can age be used as an excuse for something someone did?" Meanwhile, he's trying to use his age as an excuse. Considering, so remember, this is the guy who said, "Hey, I'm only worried about the children." So when Heath Ledger died, Perez Hilton put on his website a T-shirt for people to spend their money on, that just had a picture of Heath Ledger, and underneath it said, "Why couldn't it been Britney?"
Wow. Damn.
Like,
yeah.
One, that is not something you do if you're just concerned about children. And two, dude, you're making fun of a 13-year-old girl who did some stupid, I think, Chinese accents, and you're a 30-year-old man making money off wishing someone was dead. Like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that he apologized. But here's the thing, like, she doesn't have to accept that apology, and he's done. Yeah, that guy did a lot of damage to her, and got a lot of people riled up around her. Like, that woman went through a weird. Her and many people have gone through a weird celebrity thing where just like, again, she shaved her head and started smashing in a car window with an umbrella. Man, like, people pushed her over the edge. So
I mean, how many of them? Who hasn't thought about doing that though?
Yeah. But
maybe
it's there's a lot of hypocrisy there. Maybe he'll learn from this too. Maybe not.
I'm not holding my breath.
Probably not. But yeah, people think just because you're a celebrity or whatever, like you're not you're a cartoon character. So they feel when you can say something like, "Why shouldn't it have been Britney who died?" Like, they're not really taking into consideration, like, you just like, she's a real person with thoughts and feelings, and like, yeah, if I saw someone with a t-shirt that said Kush Hayes should be murdered, I'd be like, what did I do? Huh? What did I? Yeah. What's going on with that, man?
He just needs, unless he does and they're all as bad as him, but he needs someone around him. Because I can totally understand in the heat of the moment thinking, this will be funny. People buy this shirt, though. Why couldn't it be Britney? Ha.
Mm-hmm. How do you make the argument to be funny in your itty bitty circle of friends, which is like 4 people and one of their dogs? But
but he needed that one person in his life to be like, I get why you would find this funny, but I don't think this is a good idea, pal. Maybe we should not do this.
I've always wondered why there isn't a show of paparazzi that follow the guys on TMZ.
That'd be hilarious. Like following them while they're doing this shopping and things like that. Just bother them.
I was like, hey man, so what's on tomorrow's show? Oh really? You got dirt on that? I can't wait to see it. How do you get that? Really? Oh, what are you feeling? The Beatles. Should we remake the Beatles? What do you know? Just bombard them with questions. We're like, hey man, I'm just trying to buy like some asparagus here. Would you leave me alone?
TMZ on TMZ.
Yeah.
See, I like it. Just call it like Their Own Medicine. That's TV. Their Own Medicine on TBS. But speaking of new shows, because someone's going to pick that up. How are you a big fan? I imagine you are. You strike me as one of those guys that loves a good dating show on TV. Am I reading you correctly?
You're not wrong necessarily, man. There used to be a show called The Fifth Wheel. Are you familiar with this, Mike? This was a '90s thing, pre 9/11.
Okay, is that how we're working time now?
Okay, so it's kind of like Blind Date, but it'd be one dude or one woman, but in this case it's one dude, and he'd have a date with 4 women at the same time. And they go to multiple locations, and after each location, you're like, okay, so we just had a great time at Rendezvous X, whatever. But you were giving me the side eye, so you're cut. And then he's down to 3. And then it would be great to just bet with friends on, like, oh, I got $5. He's going to cut this chick next. Like, it's you can make some good money off the fifth wheel. But that was the last time I saw a dating show per se.
So was it like per dish? So he'd have like 4 people with him, and then after the starter, he would cut one of them, and then after the main course, he would cut someone, and after the dessert, he would cut someone. He was left with the love of his life.
Definitely not that quickly. No, they would literally all right, let's go get some coffee. All right, we all got coffee, and number 3, you're cut. Now let's go to the bar. We all got a shot. Everybody got a shot. Let's do a shot. Okay, number 2, you're cut. Now let's go to dinner. And number 1, you're cut. And then they go dancing or something, and they decide if they're gonna still be a thing. But that's how that was the format of that show.
Wait,
you know what also was fun is Joe Millionaire was fun, and The Littlest Bachelor, I think. The Littlest Groom. The Littlest Groom was a reality show during the big reality show boom.
Okay.
Right around Joe Millionaire time. It was on Fox. And they set up a little person with 10 normal women and 5 little people. And he, again, like on The Bachelor or any other show, he counted them off. It was 2 episodes long because it was a mini-series.
Oh.
No one got that joke until I just explained it to you. So,
boom.
So that's my experience with the dating shows, Mike. But you got a new thing coming out of the UK.
Yeah. So before we get into that though, because now I've just dropped my memory. Did you ever watch Flavor of Love with Flavor Flav?
I peeked in on that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I peeked in on a couple episodes. I wasn't into that because it was just creepy.
Well, the only thing I was
beyond creepy.
The best that features the best scene ever in any dating show ever created ever in a universe is when Flavor Flav is standing there talking about, hey, this is this kind of show we're on and blah 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 blah, and there's 20 women standing there, and I guess one of them really needed to go. But she didn't want to leave the group, and so she kind of shuffles her way to the back of the group, and she just squats down and just takes a dump live on the set.
I don't remember that at all. Wow.
Fantastic.
I remember New York. I remember Hoops. I remember...
I don't know if you can find it on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to...
It's probably all over YouTube, but yeah, I don't need to see the chick pooping backstage.
But, so... I was going to say, so dating shows now jumping shark, but that might almost be like a pun. Because Netflix have got a new show.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I'm not gonna, well, I was going to say I'm not going to tell you the title, but the title, we know the title, and the title's in the title of this podcast. So it's called Sexy Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like their new take on the whole blind date idea. Mm-hmm. And this whole, we don't want people to judge people by their looks. We want to just by their personalities, man. And so what they do, so it looks like it's either one guy or one woman who I think doesn't have to change their looks, but they, well, maybe they do actually. No, I think they do. I think they do actually, judging by the preview.
They both do.
Remember that? Yes. But so everyone just has to wear these prosthetics to make themselves look like animals.
Mm-hmm.
And then they meet each other, and then they decide who they love, and then they get to see the real them. Like, so I was thinking, like, oh my god, this is terrible. Fucking America coming out with all more of this bullshit. And then I find out I don't know how I missed this. It's based on a British TV show. Like, what the fuck? Like, who? Like, so someone, somewhere, said, hey, boss, I got an idea. I don't know why I'm doing that accent because it's British, but...
Do it! Roll with it, Mike.
So I got this cigar. So I got this idea for a new show, right? So what? We're going to set people up on their dates, but they're not going to be able to see each other. Oh, why? We're going to blindfold them? Oh, no. Here's the great thing. No. They're going to make them look like fucking tigers and bears and shit. What the and someone was like, yeah, that's a great idea, and greenlit it.
Now, this isn't based on a Japanese or a Korean game show?
That would be more, but no, some British guy who sounded like a 1940s gangster came up with the idea.
We're gonna get a girl, okay? She's gonna be a beautiful girl, okay? But here's the twist. We're gonna make her look like a porpoise, you see? Okay? She's gonna look like a dolphin, a bottle fin. It's gonna look really weird, and it's gonna make you guys go like, ooh, 4 holes.
So
when you sent me the details on this, I was like, fuck, I gotta actually now watch an episode of this. And when I went to check it out today, I was happy to find out that, as of this recording, it doesn't exist yet. It's only a trailer, and I was like, oh, yes, thank God.
Yeah, the first episode's out on like July 21st.
It looks, I mean, people are going to talk about it, but it's got a very tired, very, very, very short shelf life, I want to say. Again, you could do this game show with just paper bags and blindfolds, like you said.
You think it's got a short life, which I thought the same thing as well. But apparently, Netflix was like, yeah, we like this idea so much, we're going to buy 2 seasons up front.
They do that, though. But what is that, 20 episodes?
It's going to be like, probably most stuff now is like, 6 to 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just not episodic, so I can't imagine there's going to be a need to do that many. But I'm hoping it's only going to be, because I know I'm going to watch this in the end. I'm just going to.
If they're smart, they'll release it weekly. This is the thing that should be released weekly, so that you and I have these conversations more regularly. Like, yo, man, did you see the scarecrow and the porpoise? Yo, man, that shit was crazy. And then she was like, no, man, you're made of straw. Why would I do that?
Oh god, are we gonna have to do a second podcast? Like Waffle Box talks Sexy Beasts.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh god, coming soon.
You seem to be already into it. Like, it seems like you're definitely going to watch this, and I feel 100% confident that you're going to tell me about it in 4 weeks.
Well, let's watch the first episode before we decide whether we're going to dedicate a whole podcast about it.
But we don't have to dedicate a whole podcast to it. I'm just saying, like, it would come up in a segment.
This week on Sexy Beasts. So we got a tiger, and a lion, and a monkey.
Here's what's up. We're going to create a podcast where we talk only about the Tokyo Giants and sexy beasts. Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of niche podcasts.
Yes, you are. It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge. See,
it's gonna be huge, kid.
I tell you,
the kids in Kyoto are gonna go crazy for it. Kyoto is.
But isn't that already a thing though? Like, what's it called? What is that weird fetish thing where people dress up like animals and
furries
just meet up? Yeah, isn't this basically that?
Yep, a little bit of that. Maybe a little bit of that.
It's just like a PG version, I guess, of that.
I have a feeling there'll be 1 or 2 episodes where there's someone absolutely from the furry community. It'd be really weird if they didn't cast someone from it. But most of the times, people are just like, "Oh, this is a fun idea. This will be something I can tell so and so down the road." Yeah.
But looks of it, the makeup looks very good.
Oh yeah,
so they've put a lot of money into it.
The majority of the budget is in the makeup. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because imagine the rest of the show is just them sitting at a bar.
Probably.
Yeah, I imagine this very. Speaking of, look at this segue. We are just like episodes. We are smooth talking about bars. So apparently, another story where I just learned so much about the world that we live in right now. So apparently, I tried reading a couple of articles about this story to try to get my head around it, but I still couldn't. So obviously, is it Hasbro, the makers of Monopoly? Is it Hasbro?
I think Hasbro owns Monopoly now, but the Monopoly used to be Parker Brothers, at least when I was growing up. I'm sure someone acquisized somebody, and yeah. But
right. So I think Hasbro. Who it doesn't matter. Anyone. The people who have the rights of Monopoly apparently agreed. So a British company kind of co-signed this deal where they would make very localized versions of the game.
Mm-hmm. We have San Francisco-opoly. I've seen it. I haven't. I don't own it, but we've seen it.
But so there's this company based in the UK making localized versions of Monopoly, and one of the first places that this company that's based in the UK chose was Worcester, Massachusetts. Like, of course, that's the first place I would think of doing anything if I was in the UK. Like before, I ended up living in Jersey, but this is my second choice because Worcester, Massachusetts was taken or something. I don't know. But yeah, so there's this bar who's heard this, and so rather than I'm guessing rather than street names, they're having like places,
actual
like bars
locations,
and restaurants and things like that on this. And so this bar, Ralph's Tavern, was trying to get involved in this and wanting Ralph's Tavern to go on this Monopoly board. So they was like, okay, let's try this Monopoly themed promotion. So for 2 hours, I think it actually took place last week, maybe like the 21st or something, whatever.
It was on Wednesday.
It was on last Wednesday. Okay, so it's about 6 days ago. So for 2 hours, between 4 and 6, they would accept Monopoly money as currency. Okay. But obviously, for legal reasons, you can't give alcohol away for free or even through fake money. So obviously, they had to work out some way. So you had to still spend real money on alcohol. But so they did like you could spend $5 on Monopoly money for the cover charge. I think it was $10 for hot dogs, $20 of Monopoly money. This is not real money. It's like $20 of Monopoly money on non-alcoholic Jello shots, which is it's just a Jello cup.
Yeah.
And
it's probably this big too.
Yeah, I mean it's fake, but you still have to buy
It's
them
fake.
anyway.
It's fake.
But
yeah, it's fake money.
And $100 for like entry to a raffle for some swag and all that stuff.
The worst thing is what is happening is you are defunding your own personal Monopoly game.
Yeah, you can't play that Monopoly game anymore. So
No.
that's ruined. Family Christmas comes around, Thanksgiving.
Oh.
You fucked.
That's the most the consumer is losing. Now the proprietor of Ralph's, who I hope is named Ralph, is he's out 33 cents on a hot dog, 25 cents on a Jello shot. But I feel like he could just give this company in the UK or wherever it's located, just give him $2,000 and they'll make him Park Place. I mean, however, this seems to be a good gimmick. It seems to be a good promotion. We're talking about it. I Googled it. There was one talking about it's coming up, and then I sent you the follow-up article. Like, it happened, and that's why you know about 20 fake dollars in hot dogs.
I know the price points. But
I gotta say though, these localized Monopoly games, like your Worcester, Massachusetts, they probably have the best selling ratios, man. Like for every 99 people there, 80 have them. That's just a guess. I don't know.
But did you see? I did. Did you look up Ralph's Tavern?
I didn't. No. I mean, I'm sure it's really rinky dinky.
It's the diviest of dive bars. So
I did see it was like over 90 years old. There was a big thing like, we were the first bar after Prohibition.
But I'm just like, so the first thing I had thought was like I appreciate it's part of the gimmick, but I was like, who the hell is gonna be wanting to pay $5 as a cover? This is not the establishment that people are lining up to pay $5 cover charge to get in. You
know what? I bet this was just a one-time thing. Maybe he has a bar. Is the place big enough to have a band? Were you able to notice that?
I imagine so. But I looked on their Yelp page, and they have like 2 photos, and one of them is of a cat sitting on the bar. And that's the kind of place we're talking about here.
Oh, that's a very East Coast thing. Cats in establishments. Well, it keeps out the rats. So, and I get it. That bar has been there 90 years. There's probably a rat or two in there.
Well, what I do kind of like, what I hope is like the happy ending of the story is that Ralph of Ralph's Tavern was somehow came across all of these Monopoly games that didn't have any money, and so he's like, I know how to get some money, and so he's gonna he just did this just to fill up his games full of money, and he's gonna sell them on eBay and make a bunch of money.
I mean, Monopoly is a big deal, dude. I couldn't tell you how many units are sold, but it's big enough to where people just collect it. They don't even open it. They're like, yeah, I want San Francisco-opoly, and Worcester-opoly, and New York-opoly, and Krabappel-opoly. They collect them. There's actual speed Monopoly contests. Like, if you've played Monopoly before, it probably takes you like hours to play. Yeah, same thing for me. But guys are doing it in like 20 minutes, maybe faster. Monopoly is a big deal. So I think this guy, it was a smart move to bet on almost all of his patrons have Monopoly that they haven't played in 20 years in their closet. And just probably the cover charge again. It's probably the only time he's ever done that. And again, it's fake money. So we're like, shit, I'm going to pay for the guy behind me too. Yeah.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward, exactly. So it seems to be a fun gimmick. Seems to be paying off. I understand the company only makes this game every 5 years, which is also surprising. So yeah, he wants to get in on that next edition, man. It's good for his business.
Every 5 years, and they chose Worcester, Massachusetts. Like, no offense to Worcester, Massachusetts, but it just doesn't seem like the sexiest of locations.
Yeah, I've never been to Massachusetts, period, but I understand like the pride is huge over there. Like, someone from Worcester, Massachusetts now might drive to where you are in New Jersey, locate you, and then punch you in the jaw. It's not impossible.
I'm just thinking from a marketing strategy, because because like you say, like, you know, because of the because of the touristy locations, you know, someone from Ohio might be like, oh, the New York version of Monopoly, that's fun. The San Francisco, that's fun. The Worcester,
but there's also Star Wars Monopoly and G.I. Joe Monopoly and Simpsons Monopoly and Call of Duty Monopoly, like Super Mario Brothers Monopoly. Like, it's baffling, like how many editions there are. It's just Monopoly, but you change one block, it's a whole different game now. Yeah. So I'm not surprised there's Worcester Monopoly. I bet there's Kings County Monopoly. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Big up Worcester. Worcester.
Worcester.
Worcester.
Whoa. There. There.
Is that know where John Cena's from? No, he's from West Newbury. West Newbury. West Newbury, well, Massachusetts.
That's
Wait
at least
for that Monopoly in 5 years.
Wow.
Just have John Cena on it. Every square.
Poor John Cena.
Poor John Cena.
I feel bad for John Cena. He's a good dude. Works hard.
He is a good dude. Speaking of John Cena,
you're really good with your transitions.
Even though, thank you. Even though apparently you can't see him, you did see him recently in Fast 9.
F9, the Fast Saga.
F9.
The 9th edition of the Toretto saga, the 10th movie in the actual whole franchise. Now, Mike, we had Hobbs and Shaw only 2 years ago, but it's been 4 years since the family reunited. That was 2017's Furious.
Really?
Or Fate Furious, excuse me. Yeah.
4 years since the last.
2017.
Wow.
And, you know, it's Fast and the Furious, so it did really well. It was very entertaining. But then something happened. We were supposed to get Fast 9 in 2019, but people went, you know what? That dynamic between The Rock and Jason Statham, that was just fantastic. We need to get that movie greenlit and rushed. And they did that. And Vin Diesel was like, well, all right, well, we're just going to come out in 2020. It gives us next year to polish this gem a little more, add some more to the special effects, think out some things.
Gem.
It's going to be wild, all right? And then COVID happened, so we had to wait a whole other year.
So it's Vin Diesel's fault?
No, not necessarily. I would say props to them, first of all, for just delaying everything a full year. They just went, yeah, this COVID thing is real. So we're not gonna be optimistic and say we'll be out in September, or now October, or now December. This 2021. We'll see you then. Check in on us again. But since it's been 4 years, this movie was wildly disappointing. I'm a huge fan, as you may or may not have told. And it's just, it's under 2.5 hours, and it's just, there's so much fat on this. There's a lot of cool stuff in it, but then there was a lot of fan service that maybe didn't necessarily need to happen, or they didn't have the balls to go further with. We can talk about that in a second. But, yeah, Mike, what would you like to know about Fast 9? Do we want to do spoilers? Because I don't care.
Well, I'm just shocked, quite frankly. I need to take a step back on this. So, what you're saying to me, with a straight face, Kush Hayes.
That's me.
Is that the 9th installment in the Fast and the Furious franchise was underwhelming? Who would have thought?
That's disappointing. I think there's a difference. I don't want to get into that, but I can.
Think there's much of a difference.
Like it might be semantics. Might be semantics.
I think you might be into something.
It should have been much better. It should have been much better, especially when they were trying to listen to fan service. Again, how far do you want me to go into this review, Mike? Because again, I'll spoil shit. But we should let the fans decide if they want to be a part of this. I'm going to say up front, 2 out of 5. It sucked. Would you like to hear why it sucked though?
I would love to, because.
Okay, well,
Wait. So as far as what we know from the trailer, before we dive into spoilers, is that Vin Diesel, I can't remember the characters' names.
Dominic
Vin
Toretto,
Diesel.
Dom the Bull.
Dummy has a evil half brother.
True.
And
This is true.
he is John Cena.
Also true.
That's
so Papa Toretto, he
he
apparently gets around. Now he's apparently Italian because Toretto is an Italian name and it means the bull. But apparently Dominic is Hispanic, and Jordana Brewster, we're just gonna call her Jordana Brewster. She's something else, and John Cena, as Charlize Theron will make a note of in this film, he's got some Nordic blood in him because of his cut chin, his cleft chin. They make a point to call that out, and I was like, who's giving this man custody of all these kids? Because Papa Toretto is a professional racer. He's not doing any of that street race bullshit. He's at the track. We get lots of flashbacks on the Toretto past. I don't know how much you watch the series, Mike, but there's always been this through line of Dom's first criminal record was beating a man to death with a wrench, and we get to see that
classic.
finally.
Oh wait, they actually show it.
Yeah, we actually finally get it.
You get to see Baby Groot with a wrench.
Outstanding. Yes, we do. He's Baby John Cena gets into a fight with an opponent on the racetrack. Papa Toretto has died. He has been burned up to death in a violent ball of fire because it would turn out that John Cena actually sabotaged his engine. And then this one racer bumped into the wall and just fireball. and Dom's like, what? No. Baby John Cena's like, oh my God, what did I do? And,
I can't see this.
And then we finally get the aftermath. We see the wreckage of the car, and John Cena's catches the guy who bumped into his dad, and he's trying to give his respects. He's like, he knew he was going to bump him into the wall. I didn't know he was going to burst into a ball of fire. Jesus Christ, I'd have done something else. And they get into it, but then Dom interferes and ultimately beats this man to death with a wrench, ultimately sending him to prison.
Wait.
Questions, Mike?
Yeah, no, I have a question. So they're obviously on the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
And their dad gets bumped into a wall. Boom. Ball of flames. Dead.
Mm-hmm. Violent ball of fire. Like it's just like, this is PG-13. Jesus Christ.
So where did Baby Vin get the wrench from?
It's a racetrack. There's toolboxes everywhere, and there just happened to be one right next to his dad's wreckage.
Seems sus.
Well, maybe it seems forced. However,
maybe that's what caused the accident. He just drove over a toolbox.
No, it's heavily implied that John Cena sabotaged the engine.
Why would John Cena want his dad dead?
He didn't want his dad dead. He wanted his dad to lose.
Oh.
Yeah. It's complicated. It's complicated. Don't worry about it. However, Dom went to jail. He eventually gets out. And then him and Baby Cena street race. And the stipulation is if John Cena wins, he can come home and not keep driving and don't ever come back. And as you may or may not have guessed, John Cena loses. By the way, it's not John Cena when we're talking about Baby John Cena. He's no longer family. You killed Dad. You're out of the family.
That's such a ridiculous way to run a family.
Dad's dead, Mike. You lost the street race. You're out of the family. Get the fuck out.
That's right. Me and you, rock, paper, scissors. If you lose, keep rock, paper, and scissoring on the way to the sunset. I don't want to see you again. You're dead to me. If you can't rock, paper, scissors correctly. Well, that's just either kick him out or accept his apology. Or go to therapy, I don't know.
So after all that, we finally bump into adult John Cena like 25 years later. I don't know, but it's on a mission where Kurt Russell's plane went down, and so the only people who can solve this mission are the street racers. And
wait,
he
whose
sends
plane
out
goes down?
Kurt Russell. He's a character.
Kurt
in this. I don't know
Russell
if
is
you
in
knew that.
this?
He plays Mr. Nobody. He's been a thing since Furious 7.
Ah, fuck! Now I need to watch them.
I am sad that you haven't been watching them.
No, I didn't know Kurt Russell was in it. If I knew Kurt Russell was in it, I'd have watched it.
He plays Mr. Nobody. Scott Eastwood is in F7 as well.
I don't care.
That's Clint
Kurt
Eastwood's
Russell,
son.
That's all I care about.
Kurt Russell's badass, man. He's great in this. He's a lot of fun. So, but his plane went down, and the Fast and Furious gang go out to some jungle, and they find one half of the MacGuffin, and then they have to escape whatever military the country they're in is in, and yeah, that happens. We are you familiar with the Tyrese character at all?
He's played by Tyrese.
He is played by Tyrese. That was very good. I'm glad you're paying attention.
That's as much of my knowledge.
He's the Joker. He's the clown. He's the ladies' man. He's the mouth. He's the smooth talker. But he's always the
him and
comedy.
Ludacris don't get on, right?
Ludacris is also Ludacris is the technician.
Ludacris and Tyrese kind of have like a love-hate relationship, right?
They're best friends. They're brothers. Come on.
I do remember that the video. I don't know if I think it made it into the final cut where Tyrese tried to make a joke about The Rock, and The Rock said something back, and like Ludacris.
That's Furious 6.
Legit.
Fast and Furious 6. Spit take.
What's it called? Corpsing, is it?
So
when you
in
like
that
legit
scene, spit take. Oh.
No, when you like break character and you actually laugh on a scene, is it corpsing or something like that?
I've never heard that term before. I don't know. It's just breaking character.
Making it up. Anyway, carry on. Where did Tyrese get up to for 9?
He gets some wild revelation that like, hey man, what if we're cartoon characters? What if we're like actually immortal? Like, here's my jacket. I got shot up 24 times. Like, he's definitely wearing body armor in the scene he's referring to. But then like he gets shot up here and shot up here, and like I don't know how familiar you are with body armor. I'm not very familiar, but I know there's no armor up here or here. But sure enough, like smoke is coming from that. So anyway, he's like, hey man, I got shot the fuck up. I don't have a bullet hole in me. He goes through a couple of near-death experiences in 10 minutes to where he's just like, yo, what if this is like a movie? What if we're in some parallel dimension where we're just immortal? I don't know. And at first they play it off, but then they laugh at him and they laugh it off. But he keeps proving them wrong. Mike.
I don't know how deep. Tyrese has a realization that maybe I could be Vin Diesel's brother as well.
Ooh, I think
that would be.
I think that's unrealistic. That's unrealistic in every dimension.
Let's not get stupid now. No, but wouldn't that be a good way to let's say they did like for F10, Fast X or whatever they call it,
FX,
and then right at
FX,
the end.
by the way, is going to be 2 movies. It can't be Fast 10 and Fast 11. It's going to be Fast 10 Part 1 and Fast 10 Part 2. This is not a joke. I'm confirming that for you.
Oh, spoiler alert.
That's in Variety. That's in all the trades. That's the thing.
You heard it here first, kids. But I would like if at the end of that, that Vin Diesel dies, and then after he dies, it flashes up on the screen. Game over. Continue ? And it cuts out. It's just this kid playing a video game. Gah! And that's the end of it. The whole thing was just a video game.
That would be amazing. I would have to spike my drink into the ground. That would annoy so many people, but if they did it right, I could see myself loving that. And then we'd have to reference this episode and be like, Mike, you fucking called it. Dude, it was a fucking game this whole time. This whole time.
Mate, because Tyrese, who's dropping the hints.
Yeah. By the time we get F10, it'll probably be close to the 25-year mark of this franchise. So, yeah, man, that's wildly plausible. Wildly plausible.
It would be if it wasn't for the fact that they're still making money. This franchise, once it's
no one says 10, shit has to end.
Exactly. Once a film franchise has got to 10, and they're still making money for it, they're just gonna keep that going until they're gonna run it into the ground. We could very much see Fast and Furious 20. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'd bet money on that. Well, so here's the thing that you're neglecting or you don't remember, but Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift was originally just supposed to be a spin-off. Now it's canon, it's part of the timeline, it's just in a weird order, but once upon a time it was supposed to be a direct-to-video spin-off, much like what American Pie has done. It's Universal, so there's maybe 3 extra trilogies of American Pie now that have nothing to do with that kid who stuck his dick in the pie.
So where does Tokyo Drift fall in? Is it technically number 3 or 4?
Tokyo Drift is the 3rd movie released, but the order goes Fast and Furious,
Too Fast, Too Furious,
Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, then Tokyo Drift, then Furious 7, Fate of the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw's in there somewhere, and then now F9. F9.
That's what I'm going to call it. F9.
F9. I think that's the sound of like when the arrow just misses your head and it's vibrating by your F9.
Beautiful. And that, I think, is a great way to end the review.
My man, we didn't even scratch the surface, but 2 out of 5. This movie is crazy. It's a lot of fun to actually talk about. I think I could give you another half hour of this movie, but no, let's close her out on a high note. It is not entertaining to watch, unfortunately. If we could have, I wish they had taken all the flashbacks and just made a movie out of that. I think that would have been way better. At least it wouldn't have made it 2.5 hours. So, wait for it on video
or
streaming, video, bootleg, whatever. Yeah, don't go to the theater for this. I didn't even tell you my theatrical experience. We'll talk about that some
Don't
time.
waste your movie pass on this.
Yeah, I mean, some people love it, but I'm not one of them, and I'm an active fan. I'm a defender of this franchise.
But I like giving the cliff notes on these movies because that you have on one of your 17 other podcasts that you're doing a full review on this movie, right?
No, I saved it for this, baby. I did a written review. That's on the Bosnet family. .family / reviews. Bad. Don't feel bad. No. We rarely cover recent movies in depth. So,
I think they got the gist of it, though. I think if you want to see it,
everyone else has already talked about this already. Like there's plenty of spoiler videos and et cetera out there. So, yeah.
Right. I think we should wrap that up there because I'm getting because to record this to make my voice sound sultry and nice, I've had to close all the doors. and my AC does not reach this room when the doors are shut, and so I am slowly baking away.
You're probably like 5 pounds lighter since we started, which is not good for you. You're a very skinny gentleman already.
Exactly. I'm not going to be able to walk out of this room under my own power.
You're that dude who I go, God damn, will someone get Mike a fucking sandwich, please?
Please do. Chicken and... get some, like, what's it called? Pepper jack cheese, melted, with some salami in there. I like a sandwich. I like a good sandwich. I haven't been to Subway since pre-pandemic. That's crazy, right?
I would avoid the Subway. I hated Subway before this tuna bullshit. I hated Subway before the yoga mat incident. Before Jared was a pederast. I was never a fan of Subway. I'm a bigger fan of it that doesn't even exist anymore. Quiznos, but there's so few of them because they're a shitty franchise. They're great products, shitty franchise.
They still exist. You can still. I think I found one.
And unless you're actually part of the corporation, your franchise rate is 50%. That's terrible for a restaurant.
I could be totally wrong, but for some reason I feel that there's a Quiznos in the airport in Aruba.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
For some reason I feel there is. But I remember there being one, Lakeside Shopping Centre. Shout out to Lakeside Shopping Centre in Grays, Essex, England, where I grew up. There was a Quiznos there.
Nice.
It's beautiful stuff.
I prefer the Quiznos above Subway by like 10. But as a business practice, they overcharge your franchisees. That's why there's so few of them now.
Yeah, but back in the day, back when I used to work in an actual office, there was a Subway right around the corner, and so that was like, if I just couldn't be bothered to think about what I wanted for lunch, it was like, Subway, that'll do.
Sometimes you gotta settle for Subway or the McDonald's or the Taco Bell.
We had Subway in one direction, literally like 2 blocks, and then 2 blocks in another direction, it was a McDonald's. Then we had a Chipotle in the other. It was like, and then just.
I mean, it sounds like a major downtown city.
It was like, it's like.
Ooh, Chipotle.
It was Chelsea, by the Flatiron building in
does
New York.
Chipotle in the UK have the same problems it's had out here? And what I mean is, Chipotle has had like 5 different like salmonella incidences or whatever kitchen bacteria you should not be ingesting on an American national level. Has anything like happened over there? Are you aware of?
Don't know. I was only
amazing.
Truly introduced to Chipotle, or Chipotle as I like to call it, when I moved here to America. But yeah, from what I understand, they do love that salmonella. They're a big fan. Big fan.
I don't know how they remain open after that. Like, not an exaggeration, 5 times.
Oh, I see what you did. That was beautiful. Did you mean to do that?
Probably not. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
What is it? What was their issue with the sound? Like, what was their main health risk issue recently?
I haven't followed it. What are you talking about, man?
Well, you said, how do they remain open?
Yeah, how do they remain open?
Remain lettuce.
Okay, that's where the salmonella was coming from?
I don't know if it's salmonella, but they definitely had some issues with the romaine lettuce, and I thought that was what he was going for. I thought he was going to say, how do they remain open? I thought he was doing really clever.
I was not.
See, I have faith in you. But there you go. Maybe I'll edit it to make it look like you did. But anyway, that's enough for Mike and Kush this week. Another episode of Waffle Box. So yes, make sure you follow all of the socials at WaffleBox Pod, WaffleBox Pod. If you need any kind of links, it's waffleboxpod.com. You can follow me at Mr. Mike Fish, him at Kush_Hayes, and as you said, so on Friday, you got another show coming out on Friday. What are you got coming out on Friday? So remind the good people.
Friday is Microdose number 74 with Drew Angelman. We're going to be talking about the summer movies that are still coming out. There will be a review of The Purge Part 5 on the Bosnet.family. As of today, releasing today also with this episode, the Kick-Ass Movie Podcast number 3, me and director Len Kabazinski, we're talking about Jeff Speakman's The Perfect Weapon. I feel like that's all I should plug right now because I do so much.
Beautiful stuff. And if you do want to hear me rambling. If you're a big soccer fan, last 2 episodes of the Claret and Big Blue podcast of the season 1 wrapping up.
Hell
soon.
yeah.
We're covering European. Don't know why I said that. Euro 2020.
European. You're getting Americanized.
European. We got that European soccer league going on. Yes, check that out at cbbpod.com. But until next week, who knows what we're going to talk about? I'm sure it's going to be something good, because that's what we do here at Wafflebox. Check us out at waffleboxpod.com. And until next week, take care of yourselves.
Hugs and kisses, baby.
Oh, you just jumped into my Jerry Springer line now. Right, hugs and kisses, that's what Kush wants. Hugs and kisses. Hug and kiss everyone. But until then, take care of each other. Oh, wait. Take care of you. There you go. Take care of yourself.
Start from the top.
Take 5. Take care of yourself. And each other. You gotta say it like that. And each other.
And each other.